Dear students, today's lecture is the part of course Food Laws and Regulations, course number FST-515. Before starting the topic, let's take a glance on the contents of today's lecture. We will discuss what is USFDA, its introduction, history, FDA organizations, legal authority of FDA, FDA's mission, what USFDA regulates and does not regulate, FDA's inspections, forms commonly used during these inspections, and product recall. The United States Food and Drug Administration is an agency of the United States Department of Health and Human Services, one of the United States federal executive departments. The FDA is responsible for protecting and promoting public health through the regulation and supervision of human food, including dietary supplements and color additives, human drugs including active pharmaceutical ingredients, and both prescription and over-the-counter medication, vaccines, biologic products such as human blood, blood donor screening tests, human tissues, embryos, human plasma, and medical devices for use in blood banking operations. Medical devices such as first aid kits, pacemakers, surgical instruments, radiation-emitting products such as X-ray machines, microwave ovens, CD-ROMs, and laser pointers, cosmetics products such as shampoo, makeup, and face creams, animals and veterinary food and feed, as well as veterinary medicines, tobacco products such as cigarettes, smokeless tobacco e-cigarettes, and other electronic nicotine delivery system, cigars, and all other tobacco products. The headquarters of the FDA is located at White Oak, Maryland. It consists of 223 field offices and 13 laboratories located throughout the 50 states. In 2008, FDA started opening offices in foreign countries like India, China, Chile, and the UK. History. Until 20th century, there was very few laws regulating the contents and sale of domestically produced food and pharmaceuticals. The history of FDA can be traced to the start of 19th century. In 1883, when H.W. Wheeler was appointed Chief Chemist of the Bureau of Chemistry under the Department of Agriculture, he took keen interest in his responsibilities and promoted research work to detect adulteration and misbranding of food and drugs marketed then. With public awareness, the demand for safe food and drugs increased, leading to employ new laws and regulations to discourage adulteration and misbranding of food and drugs. In 1906, President Roosevelt signed into the law of the Food and Drug Act, also known as Wheeler Act. The act prohibited marketing of adulterated foods and drugs. The responsibility to detect adulteration and misbranding of food and drugs was given to the USFDA Bureau of Chemistry headed by H.W. Wheeler. But soon the powers of the Bureau were checked by judicial decisions, which were then reorganized in 1927 under a new USFDA body, the Food, Drug and Insecticide Organization, later shortened to the Food and Drug Administration. FDA organizations. FDA consists of the following organizations. The Office of the Commissioner. The FDA is led by Commissioner of Food and Drugs appointed by President with the advice and consent of the Senate. The Commissioner reports to the Secretary of Health and Human Services. Currently, Dr. Stephen Hahn is working as 24th Commissioner of the Food and Drug Administration. The immediate Office of the Commissioner provides policy making, programs direction, coordination, and expert advice to agency leadership and programs to support FDA's science-based regulatory works. The Center for Drugs Evaluation and Research. The center is a division of the Food and Drug Administration that monitors most drugs as defined in the Food, Drug and Cosmetics Act. Some biologic products are also legally considered drugs, but they are coded by the Center for Biologics Evaluation and Research. The center reviews applications for brand name, generic and over-the-counter pharmaceuticals, manages U.S. current good manufacturing practices, determines which medication requires medical prescription, monitor advertising of approved medications, collects and analyzes safety data about pharmaceuticals that are already in the market. The Center for Biologics Evaluation and Research. The center is responsible for assuring the safety, purity, potency, and effectiveness of biologics and related products, such as vaccines, live biotherapeutics like probiotics, blood products, tissue and gene therapies. Not all biologics are regulated by CBER. Monoclonal antibodies and other therapeutic proteins are regulated by the FDA Center for Drug Evaluation and Research. The Center for Food Safety and Applied Nutrition. The Center for Food Safety and Applied Nutrition is the branch of the FDA that is responsible for ensuring the safety and accurate labeling of nearly all food products in the United States. One exception is meat products derived from traditional domesticated animals such as cattle and chickens, which fall under the jurisdiction of the United States Department of Agriculture, Food Safety and Inspection Service. Products that contain minimal amounts of meat are regulated by FDA, and the exact boundaries are listed in a memorandum of understanding between the two agencies. However, medicines and other products given to all domesticated animals are regulated by the FDA through a different branch, the Center for Veterinary Medicine. Other consumables that are not regulated by the FDA include beverages containing more than 7% alcohol, which is regulated by the Bureau of Alcohol, and non-bottled drinking water, which is regulated by the United States Environmental Protection Agency. The Center for Devices and Radiological Health. The center is responsible for the pre-market approval of all medical devices, as well as overseeing the manufacture, performance, and safety of these devices. The Center for Veterinary Medicine. The center regulates the manufacturing and distribution of food, food additives, and drugs that will be given to animals. These include animals from which human foods are derived, as well as food additives and drugs for pets or companion animals. The National Center for Toxicological Research. The center conducts innovative, integrative research to support and anticipate FDA's current and future regulatory needs. The Office of Regulatory Affairs is the lead office for all agency field activities. ORA inspects regulated products and reviews imported products offered for entry into the U.S. Legal authority of the FDA. Most federal laws concerning the FDA are part of the Food, Drug and Cosmetic Act, first passed in 1938 and extensively amended since, and are codified in Title 21, Chapter 9 of the United States Code. Other significant laws enforced by the FDA include the Public Health Service Act, parts of the Controlled Substances Act, the Federal Anti-Tampering Act, as well as many others. In many cases, these responsibilities are shared with other federal agencies. Important enabling legislations of the FDA includes Biologics Control Act of 1902, Pure Food and Drug Act of 1906, Federal Food, Drug and Cosmetic Act of 1938, Public Health Service Act of 1944, Food, Drug and Cosmetics Act Amendments of 1951, Food, Drug and Cosmetics Act Amendments of 1962, Fair Packaging and Labeling Act 1966, Medical Device Regulation Act, Prescription Drug Marketing Act 1987, Anti-Drug Abuse Act of 1988, Nutritional Labeling and Education Act of 1990, Prescription Drug User Fee Act of 1992, Dietary Supplement Health and Education Act of 1994, Food and Drug Administration Modernization Act 1997, Bioterrorism Act 2002, Medical Device User Fee and Modernization Act 2002, Animal Drug User Fee Act 2003, Food and Drug Administration Amendments Act of 2007, Family Smoking Prevention and Tobacco Control Act 2009. Mission of FDA. The mission of FDA is to promote the public health by promptly and efficiently reviewing clinical research and taking appropriate action on the marketing of regulated products in a timely manner. Protect the public health by ensuring that the food are safe, wholesome, sanitary, and properly labeled. Cosmetics are safe and properly labeled, and public health and safety are protected from the electronic product radiations. What USFDA regulates? The United States Food and Drug Administration regulates biologics, food additives, dietary supplements, product standards and develop improved testing methods, cosmetics, labeling, prescription drug labeling, drug manufacturing standards, foods, safety of all food products except meat and poultry. medical devices from simple items like tongue depressors to complex technologies such as heart pacemaker, radiation-emitting electronic products, radiation safety performance standards for microwave ovens, television receivers, diagnostics X-ray equipment, cabinet X-ray systems, laser products, ultrasonic therapy equipment, mercury vapor lamps, etc. What USFDA does not regulate. The United States Food and Drug Administration does not regulate advertising except for prescription drugs, medical devices, and tobacco products. Alcohol beverages, consumer products such as paint, child-resistant packages, baby toys, and household appliances, except for those that give off radiation. Health insurance, meat and poultry, except for game meats such as ostrich and snake. Pesticides, restaurant and grocery stores, and water. FDA shares the responsibility for regulating these products with other government agencies. Pesticides, which is regulated by FDA, US Department of Agriculture, and the Environmental Protection Agency. Water. FDA regulates the labeling and safety of bottled water, while the Environmental Protection Agency develops national standards for drinking water from municipal water supplies. FDA Food Safety Modernization Act. The FDA Food Safety Modernization Act is a federal statute signed into law by President Obama on January 4, 2011. The law authorizes the Food and Drug Administration and the Secretary of Health and Human Services to increase inspections of many domesticated food facilities, enhance detection of foodborne illness outbreaks, and other recalls of tainted food products. The law requires most food companies to write and implement new safety protocols to mitigate potential hazards. Also, imported food products face increased scrutiny under the law, including denial of entry into the United States under certain circumstances. FDA's inspections. The Food and Drug Administration conducts several types of inspections to help protect consumers from unsafe products. These include pre-approval inspection, which is conducted after a company submits an application to the Food and Drug Administration to market a new product. Routine inspection of a regulated facility. For cause inspection, which is generally conducted to investigate a specific problem that has come to the FDA's attention. FDA makes available to the public certain frequently requested records of inspections in an electronic reading room. Forms commonly used during FDA's inspections. FDA Form 482. Notice of Inspection. It is an official notice of FDA for inspection signed by the FDA officials. It is produced by the inspector and has the authority to inspect the manufacturing facility. The coordinator should ask for notice if it is not presented by the FDA inspector. Form 482 shows that inspector has authorization from FDA to inspect the facility. FDA Form 483. Observations of Inspection. Inspector shall provide the list of his observations about inspection on Form 483. It has all points noticed by the FDA inspectors. An observation made in the previous inspection that is not corrected can be added in 483. The original copy of the FDA Form 483 is presented to the farm management, generally to the person who had received the notice of inspection. FDA Form 484. Receipt of samples. During the inspection, if FDA inspectors want to take any sample, they have to issue a receipt of those samples on Form 484. It has the quantity of sample with the lot number of the product sampled. FDA Form 436. Affidavit. An affidavit is produced by the production authorities, declaring the receipt and use of the raw material used in product manufacturing after the completion of the FDA audit. Product recall. A recall is when a product is removed from the market or a correction is made to the product because it is either defective or potentially harmful. Sometimes a company discovers and recalls a product on its own. Other times a company recalls a product after FDA